Also in this video, I give you 3 reasons why I don't use the end and relist or end and sell similar in eBay. This video, I got a lot of stuff going. Got 27 cards sold overnight that I'll go through. One big order for some of those naval ship prints. Go through those pretty quick. And then a special topic. As you guys, if you watched the Mary Martin video on the 1,600 cards I purchased on the last Mary Martin auction, I got some postcards with Coca-Cola signs in them. So I wanted to do a video to talk about that because I got a lot of questions from people about that. They didn't know about it and some have. So I went out and did some research, find out what the sell-through rate and stuff is. And then a poll. Today's video is going to be a lot of passionate things for people. A lot of questions from people. So I decided I would just kind of double up on this video and get it all out there. The poll is, do you use the ECOSwift 6.5 by 4.5 rigid photo mailers? We're going to talk about that. You know, what envelopes do you use and what are the best? And then in the viewer comments, you want to stick around for this one. I'm only doing one comment today, and that comment came in and it was, do you end and relist on eBay? Why or why not? I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I do not do that. So stick around to the end of the video when that comes up. So let's go ahead and get through these what sold cards. I've got a lot to go through, but it'll go pretty quick when I get to the big order. The first one I got here is just a $4 to $5 card. It's the Statue of Liberty Monument, El Dorado, Kansas. So it's the Statue of Liberty Monument. I remember listening to this stuff, but this is not a real photo, even though it looks like it. You use your magnifying glass or your loop, you'll see the dots on this one. So this is just a $4 to $6 card. Next one, this guy bought 2 cards. Remember, the best thing to do is to get them to buy more than 1 card. I offer volume discounts. If you buy 3 or more cards, it's like 15% off. And that helps with the shipping because I add free shipping. I add the 57 or whatever it is for a stamp nowadays into the price. So if they buy more cards, and I don't refund that, they get the 15% discount, so it keeps me from refunding. But this guy, I just listed these Disney cards I got from the Mary Martin auction, and this is the Can show, Disneyland. Remember, Disneyland was before Disney World, so they're going to be a little older on some of them. So you're going to find older Disneylands. You'll find current ones too, but Disney World was second. This one is the Can show, Pepsi Cola Golden Horseshoe Can show, and this one sold for $8.65. Then he bought this one for $6.65, and this is the Disneyland band on Main Street, and these are Disneyland. Right there it says Disney, not Disney World, it's Disneyland. So the total order for 2 Disney cards was $15.20. Today's the day for multiple. This gentleman bought 2 photos of the Monterey CBL 26. These are those actual photos. They got a little curve to it, but they're on photographic paper. And this is the ship on there. And then he bought another one. A lot of the naval people, I have different views of the same ship, and they'll hunt through my categories since I got them labeled alphabetically, like J through O, P through Z or whatever. They can look and find all the Montereys, and he bought another one. So the total for this order was $17.10, $8.55 a piece. Those do not go eBay standard envelope. They'll go into a stamp and a label at my risk. Next one is the big order. This gentleman bought 16 cards or 16 naval prints for $72.80, and he got the 15% discount, and I'll just go through them real quick. The USS Prince Edge, the USS Supply IX, the USS Illinois, I'm from Illinois, USS Sable, one is USS Stag. Now some of these might be the only picture they've seen of this ship. This naval club I bought these from I have all the negatives for these. I have the original negatives for all these pictures I'm showing you here, and they printed them on lighter cardstock. Some of these are probably they haven't seen that picture of the ship, but this gentleman bought $72 worth. Now I'm going to show you in a second how I packed those up. USS Alana IX, USS Bighorn, USS Luzon, USS Panther, USS Chicago. I'm only about 60 miles south of Chicago. USS L1, USS Oahu, USS Mayflower, USS Holland, USS Seal, and USS Olympia. So he got 16 cards for $72. Now how am I going to pack those? So these will go in sleeves, in the continental sleeves, and then they'll go into a plastic bag just to secure them. And then I have these. I've had these forever, so I just use them. I got a ton of them. They're little baggies of bubble wrap, and I'll put that plastic inside there. And then I have these boxes. I got a ton of these boxes. I got them really cheap somewhere. And so all that will go inside this box. And what the bubble wrap does, it keeps it from sliding around. And then I'll ship these first class with tracking. Since he bought so many of them, I might even put priority on it. So you want to take care of people that buy stuff like that. They don't come that often lately on the bigger orders, but when they do, I want to make sure they get them. It's taken care of. And if it's a few bucks out of my pocket, that's fine. I have nothing into these. I got pennies into these prints on there. Down on the table here, I got thousands of them, and I sell them all the time. So that was the biggest order for today. Next one is this card. I must have sent an offer. I sold it for $11.38. This is another one from the Mary Martin. It's the Lakeshore Drive, Ashtabula, Ohio Depot, and it's got a trolley on there. I did comp all these really well in WorthPoint and eBay and through the web just to make sure, because I had to get my money out of these. And this sold for $11.38. Next one, I sold another one of the Disney cards from the Mary Martin auction, and this is the Frontierland entrance, and this is Disneyland as well. So that was built first, and that sold for $6.65. Next is Goat Hill, Ranton, New Mexico. $45 for a chrome card of Goat Hill. Goat Hill. Also in the Mary Martin auction, I have these auto cars. These cars. I was comping these for a while, but most of them were $4 to $5. So I just put them all up for $4.65. I got 40 cents, 30 cents into these, 40 cents. Just let them sell them. And this first one is the Renault Dauphine, I think it's called. Got a nice little lady there. Sold $45. And then I sold another one of these prints, USS Taylor, just like the other ones, to another guy, and that sold for $4.55. So a total for eBay overnight was 27 cards for $150. No problem with that going in this time of year. And I'll get those packed up and they'll go to the post office. I haven't been to the P.O. box in a couple days. I had some other family things going on, so I'm going to deliver these myself and drop them in the bucket over. They have a little door that it actually drops into a white garbage can behind there, and they go out at 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. So a lot of times I try to get over there about 1:30, and it's usually not that busy. It's a small town post office. The other bigger post office for my town, where my P.O. box is in another village closer to me, but my other P.O. box or post office is a lot of traffic lights and stuff. It'll take me twice as long to get there. So I go to the small one, and they all know me there. What sold? Hope everybody's having a good sales start of the year. But let's get into the special topic. Coca-Cola signs on postcards. It's kind of like that one with the TV on for motels. You gotta look closer. So when you get a postcard, you want to look at the signs in them. If they got drugstore signs, different signs, older signs, especially the older ones, you want to kind of call that out in your title sometimes, because people look for those. I know there's one Public Square in Cleveland, Ohio. I forgot which one it was. But if you put Public Square, Cleveland, Ohio in as a search and go look for the high one, there's one card that's pretty expensive, pricey, and because it has the Everett Furniture sign, or I can't remember what it is, I'd have to look. But if that sign's on that card, you get a lot more money. So those things can be important. That's why I purchased these Coca-Cola signs on postcards at the last Mary Martin auction. And I got them for 40 cents a piece. Now there's really no history I could find about Coca-Cola signs on postcard collecting, enough to talk about through all this. So I got some facts about Coca-Cola as you go through and you look through these postcards I put up here, and see if you can pick out the Coca-Cola signs as I go. Though the U.S. pharmacist John S. Pemberton invented Coca-Cola in 1886, his bookkeeper Frank Robinson invented the name. So the pharmacist did the formula, and the bookkeeper did the name. That's how Coca-Cola came. Coca-Cola is the most widely distributed product on the planet. Coca-Cola was officially launched in 1886, making it 130 years old or over. Coke's brand is worth $83.8 billion, which is more than KFC, Subway, and Budweiser combined. Huge, huge. I know when I worked over in Europe for a while, that was a big thing. The little Coke bottles, they're the smaller ones. We have the bigger ones here since everything in the United States is bigger. Over there, and they were glass. And that's what you drank over there was Coke, Coca-Cola, and they were in little bottles in Europe. Wherever I went, putting systems and training people. The name Coca-Cola refers to two of its original ingredients, cola nuts and cocoa leaves. Approximately 96% of the world's population recognizes the Coca-Cola logo. That's why it's important to see those on postcards. Everybody knows. Just like the McDonald's. Everybody knows McDonald's. The arches. Coke invented the six-pack in 1932 to encourage people to drink more Coke. Coca-Cola first featured a polar bear in a French print advertisement in 1922. You guys remember the Coca-Cola polar bears? That's a big marketing deal. So in 1922, they were on a French advertisement. The Coca-Cola company is headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, and has 146 office locations across 69 countries. I think that's pretty streamlined for having the most widely distributed product and only having 146 offices. It's pretty streamlined. I think that's a pretty well-run organization there if they can do it out of that deal in 69 countries. Just think dealing with all that. So that was some facts, and you saw some cards with the signs in them, and that's what you want to look for. So when you get a postcard, it's going to stick out. Now some of the black and white ones, I have a harder time picking those out sometimes. But I've been really looking at what's in the card sometimes on the buildings and stuff, and see if I can call that out, get a couple extra bucks. But we're going to see here in a minute if these things are worth way more or just a little bit more or nothing more at all. But let me do the sell-through rate. This one came up better. My last few videos, I haven't been able to get a good number of cards sold or listed because it's the queries I was getting on eBay, it was just too messy, and I don't think it was a true sell-through rate or numbers I could really make a decision on or whatever. But this one, I think I came up with a good query statement that got it there. But sell-through rate is basically the number of solds divided by the number listed at any given time on eBay is how I do it. And then you times it by 100 to move the decimal point to make it a percent. That's all the 100 does. The sell-through rate for Coca-Cola. So the statement I use for the query is Coca-Cola sign on postcards. That seemed to get me just that pretty much. Now there is a few things that pop in there, some metal signs and stuff. I tried to throw those out, but there's just, you get a lot of them. So I got down to this number. Sold, Coca-Cola sign on postcards, sold was 5. Listed was 32. There was only 32 listed. Is that because they sell so fast, or is it because people don't see them or think it's something? So this might be a nice little niche to get into. If there's only 32 on the shelf out there on eBay, and you get a bunch of them, you load them up. And that's what I did. I bought 40 of them for 40 cents a piece. So 5 sold divided by 32 listed times 100 gives you a 15% sell-through rate. How does that stack up with some other cards? So the Postcard Space Idaho has a 9%, and that's up there. Disney is 12. I think McDonald's was 22. So 9% is kind of the threshold a little bit. And Coca-Cola signs on postcards 15, above average. Postcard Nevada was 8%. Postcard California was 270,000 postcards listed, 6%. And Massachusetts with 140,000 postcards listed on eBay, 4%. And the last time I looked, there was 7.1 million plus postcards listed on eBay. And right now only 32 of those met this criteria. So 15% sell-through rate. So this is definitely a card that I will look for. If I see one, I know it will move a little faster than. But let's take a look at some of the listings I found. And then you'll want to key in on the titles here, because the titles is where it's identified the most. There's no item specific for Coca-Cola sign drop down. You could probably put it somewhere, but I think the title would be the best, as you see here. The first one sold, it was an auction, it sold for $31.99 plus $1.50 shipping, and they got one bid. So they basically had an auction, buy it now. It's Fitzgerald, Georgia, Pine Street, looking east, Coca-Cola sign on building. So they have Coca-Cola sign in the title, and it sold for $32. Next one sold for $9.49 with 3 bids and $2 shipping. I think it's $2. Yeah. It's a Smith store, later Clark gas station. Later, I meant probably older. Station pumps, Coca-Cola sign on the end. So my query is picking these up, even though Coca-Cola sign isn't all the way to the left. It's all the way on the end, and it still picked it up. So is there something questionable about people saying you got to put it to the left? The first 5 words is what it looks for. It's picking these up. Coca-Cola sign, it picked it up all the way to the right. I don't know. $9.49. That one sold for, but they had Coca-Cola sign in the title. Then I put an RPPC in here. Main Street Coca-Cola sign, Waterman, Illinois, vintage real photo postcard. My mother was born in Waterman, Illinois, way back when. She's no longer with us, but that's where she was born, is Waterman, Illinois. It's a small town on Route 30 going, and they have Coca-Cola sign as well on an RPPC, and got $17.50. So the first one was $31 or $32. The RPPC was, let's say, $17, and it got some bids and $10. So you got a nice little spread there. I think the Coca-Cola sign is probably an add-on to what the card subject is. I think it'll give it a little push. I don't know if they're buying it just for the Coca-Cola sign, but some of these cards probably got an extra push from that. But then before you go out and chase all these down, let's look at the low again. You got these people here. Here's a store closing, Coca-Cola sign, postcard. Looks like it's a newer card, $1. An old cat at gas pump, Route 66, Coca-Cola sign. That looks like a newer one too, $1.99. Elkhart, Kentucky, postcard, Harvest Moon Motel, gas, Coca-Cola sign. I think I have that card there, and mine are, I think I put them up between $6 and $9 is where I put mine, so they can get a few minutes. They did an auction and they only got one bid on it, free shipping. So if you see there, that's the normal spread with the cards. Do you think it gives you anything extra? I think it might give you a couple extra bucks per card if you can identify it and put it in the title, and you got a good subject of the card. It's kind of like TV on. It's just an extra push for those people, that one-off person. But let's see if these people are really listing these things any differently. So the listed high here, here's one with Coca-Cola sign in the title for $19.95. Oh, that falls into the sold highs in there. So $19.95, but there's really not a lot going on in that picture. It's Bear Creek on Rampage, Hannibal, Missouri. There's a gum and Coca-Cola sign. So maybe, might be, it's a view card with a Coca-Cola sign. So it might be a tough sell to get 19 for it, but you never know. Something might be about Bear Creek. Next one is vintage postcard, Burns Gable on Gaylor Mountain. Coke sign. So they didn't say Coca-Cola, they just said C-O-K-E sign, and it picked it up. So eBay picked this up with my query of Coca-Cola sign, and it said Coke sign, and eBay was able to translate that over to this, and it picked it up. I didn't put Coke in there. I put Coca-Cola sign on postcards. $13.99. They got their $1.50 shipping, so $15 for that card. That's got a little bit more. It's got a house. It's a linen, it looks like to me. Most of the Coca-Cola signs I saw were linen that I got. I would say 90% of them. That's still in the range. Next one, Coke. They have the Coke sign again. They put COKE in there, and I picked it up, $10. It's got some cars in there, Main Street, and it's a linen card, $10. So I don't think really a lot of these are out of line. I don't see. Only one has best offer, and that's the $13 one, which is a good thing. Listed low. Some of these people might be missing out. If these other people are there, you can get a few extra dollars for these if you put out the Coke sign. So this one is Coca-Cola button signs. So they put it right up front, button signs, and that's what they're called, those Coca-Cola button signs. $2.95, free shipping. They could probably get a little more for that. Winter Market, and this one's got Coca-Cola sign, old cars. They've got some key words in there, $1.95. Went to all that trouble to write all those words in the title, and you only put it up for $1.95. Waste of time. That's a nice motel in Fort Francis, Ontario. That's definitely a $5 to $6 card. When you got a Coke sign in a motel, you got two things going in, and some older cars. It'll get you $3 at $1 one of those, and it looks like a Chrome card. So, and I don't know, I haven't put up a lot of Ontario or Canada motel cards. Next one is pre-1980 Coca-Cola sign, and this is Rocky Mountain National Park, Colorado, $2.95. Yeah, they're missing a few dollars there and there. Trying to get that sale, but you could probably get a little bit more for those. But Coca-Cola signs is another one. You want to look for like the TV on for the motel, and I put that video out for that, looking for the TVs that are on in the motel rooms. These are also, you want to look for signs, Rexall Drugs. Anything to identify that you can put in the title of the postcard will help for those one-off collectors looking for stuff. There's saved searches out there. People put saved searches, so if you put Coca-Cola sign, it might trigger a saved search, and people will go look at that card, and if the price is right, you're a good seller, they might hit the buy button. Check out Coca-Cola sign. You can probably get a few extra bucks for those on there. Who knew? Now we're going to get into the poll. This is part one of some of the passionate stuff I usually don't hit too much on. We're going to talk about the poll here, and then in the viewer comments, I only got one comment. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I don't end and relist or end and sell similar on eBay. So the polls go out. They're in the community tab on the channel. I think you have to be on a desktop. You can't see them on a phone. But they go out every Saturday morning between 8 and 10 a.m. Central Time. Just quick questions, yes or no. And everybody can vote on them or participate. And it gives me the temperature of how things are going and what people are using. And I've actually changed some business practices because of what the majority of the people are using. They won me over. But it's whatever how you want to run your business. These are just things to think about. These are just guidelines down the road to stay in the white line so you don't run into another car or you're still driving to where you want to go. But this poll was, do you use the ECOSwift 6.5, 4.5 rigid photo mailers to mail postcards? What I'm talking about are these. ECOSwift makes these. These are 250 GSM. GSM is how they grade the strength of a piece of paper. A regular post envelope is like 10. This is 250. They have it sealed. You just don't have to lick them. You just pull this off. And once you close these, you're not getting them open without destroying. It's a real thin cardboard. Does a real good job. I usually put a postcard in one of these 2 Mylar sleeves, and I just put it right in here. And your eBay standard envelope, full size, will fit right on there. That's what I'm talking about on there. And I think they're costing between 14, 15 cents right now. They go up and down. I bought some last year really cheap. They must have went on sale, or I got them somewhere. I bought a couple of thousand, really good price. And so you just want to watch in there. I have 3,000 or 4,000 here, and I try to catch them when they're on sale, but they don't go on sale too often. And a couple years ago, you couldn't get them. They were hard to get, and the price went up a little bit, and they're on back order. But 78% said yes, they use them. 22% said no. And I asked for the people that said no to put in the notes in the comments on what you use instead. I'm always looking for the next best thing or the next way of doing things, or just seeing how other people do things. And that's what's most important. One of the things a lot of new sellers are worried about when they start selling postcards is the shipping and mailing of postcards. What I usually recommend to them is to go out and buy 10 or 12 postcards from 10 or 12 different buyers. Not the real, you don't have to buy expensive ones, and get those mailed to your house and open them up and see how you like the best packaging and pick out the best things each. So I was thinking to myself, I've said that many times, but I haven't done it in a while. I went out and I bought 10 or 12 postcards. And I've got most of them. I think I'm waiting on 2 more. And I'm going to do a video where I go through and we're going to open. I haven't opened these up. Only thing I'm doing is putting a little label across the address and stuff, information. And I can see through it, so if they wrote on it, or whatever. But I'm going to do a video where I grade them on the ease of opening, the presentation, any damage, speed of shipping. Try to keep it non-judgmental. It's not about going after the sellers. I'm not going to say who these came from. I really don't. I can go look, but I really didn't matter. As long as they were different sellers, I just wanted to see how people do these. So I was going to do a video and go through and grade these on some kind of matrix to say this, 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 and see what people are using and see if the cards came in safely. Were they hard to open and stuff like that? So I'm going to go through this thing I've been recommending to people on there. And that'll be in the future, probably next couple weeks. I'm just waiting on 2 more to come in and then put the matrix together. So, but 78% of the people use these envelopes. You might want to check them out. I do have little packs of them in my store. I think I still got those. If not, you can go on Amazon and find ECOSwift, and they have smaller portions if you want to try them. I just like them because it's easy. It saves me a lot of time. But the comments from the 22% that said no, not really all the comments were for the no's. They're just regular comments like normal. Cat D says, I bought some if I decide to send any cheap postcards by eBay standard envelope. So if she's going to sell any cheap postcards, she's eBay standard envelope, she'll put them in these because the label fits right on the front of it. Otherwise, she uses 2 pieces of strong cardboard and a poly mailer. Expensive cards get boxed as well. Better safe than sorry. Yeah, I don't have a fear of the post office. If this thing is gonna get tore up in a machine, it's gonna tear up the postcard. I think one time in all the years, I got one back in one of those plastic bags. It's sorry we had damage on there, and the thing was ripped and bent and squished and stuff. Nothing's really gonna save it for the price that you're selling the cards for. So I don't go to that extreme, but it doesn't look like she is either, or he. She's got a system. It works for her, and that's what she's going to use. Now, Stephen Holton, he has a lot of postcards. He's been selling for years, and he has a system. No, I have a process in which I sandwich each postcard between 2 pieces of chipboard, and then put it in a postcard sleeve and put it in a 4x6 Ziploc bag, which then goes in a 4x7 6x invitation envelope shipped by eBay standard envelope. Works perfectly. Chipboard protects postcards from bending, and the Ziploc bag keeps moisture away. I make the labels at 70% and tape them on the front. It's got a system. Not saying it's right or wrong. It's a system. It works, and that's all you need. You don't have to be like everybody else. If it works for you, you're happy with it, your feedback says it's good shipping, you don't get a lot of stuff wrong, use it. But if you see something other people are using and it can make you go faster, you can always take a look at it. But Stephen and Kat, they have a way to do it, and they're happy with it. And that's all this really is about, is to see how other people do things. You might pick one thing out of it. Like somebody might say, well, what's a chipboard? What do you talk about, a piece of plywood? What is that? They might go out and Google it and see if they want to try that. Thanks, Stephen, and thanks, Kathy. Next one is Ingenious Idol. I use a regular standard envelope unless they pay for first-class shipping. Then I use cardboard mailer inside a bubble envelope. Okay. A lot of, as you'll see, a lot of people ship them in just plain envelopes and stuff. And you can go check their feedback out on their sites. When you get that in the mail and you know who it came from, go check their feedback and just see if that's something you want to do. Thanks, Ingenious. Kip Bakrisky. Oh, I butchered that. Sorry about that. No, we use number 10 envelopes, which is your longer envelopes, with a piece of cardstock, and each card is in a sleeve. And I think this is a call out. Winston's Vintage Postcards. If anybody ever wants me to call out their store or whatever, just stick it in the comments. I don't think you can put links in there, but you can always send me an email. I love promoting other people. A lot of people have helped me over the years promote SMPostcards, and I get behind anybody that wants to promote and stuff. I'm not going to do a whole video on your thing, but I'll call out to me. No problem. So check out Winston's Vintage Postcards. So he uses a regular envelope and he puts a piece of cardstock in each, and it's in a sleeve. Thanks, kid. Boldy Grow Pickers. I still use the eBay 5x7 envelope. Now eBay has some great envelopes. I got to tell you that. And I have a toy store, which is now a basic store, so I get like 25 bucks. And then I have the postcard store, which is premium on eBay, and I get box money, you know, the shipping supplies every quarter. And when that comes up, I usually buy these, stuff like this. This is the 5x7 that Boldy Grow's talking about. They're really stiff, they're really good. Things that they're about 2-3 ounces on there. This is another smaller one. It's a little smaller than the other one. And then they also make the longer one, a real long one. And I picked up some of these for the panoramic postcards. So those are great. They do weigh a little bit more, so you have to bump your thing up there. But man, I got to look compliments on those. And Boldy Grow says he uses the eBay 5x7 envelopes. He likes Originus. Yeah, they're really good, but they're just a little bit too heavy. But when I run out, I may try ECOSwift. Yeah, try them, Boldy. And thanks, Boldy, and thanks, Chip. Now, Karen Henderson, love these. Never had a complaint yet. Thanks, Mark. You're welcome. Yeah, so if you want to try these, you can buy them in hundreds, 50s, or whatever. I just like them because they're easy. And one thing I like about them, see the back there? A stamp. I put it right on the back of every one. I don't put it on the flap because I found out I was putting it up there, but they ripped the flat open. I put it right down there, and that says SMPostcards.com, which is points right to my eBay store. Variety of collectible postcards, 35,000 plus postcards to choose from. And then I put a little thing at the bottom, opened carefully, postcard inside. Do they read all that? I don't know. But that's what I do with each one, so it kind of gets out there and they can kind of see what it is. And these stamps, I get them from Vistaprint on there and stuff like that. And this is my newer one. They made them bigger this time, and the other ones kept breaking a little bit, and this one seems to be a lot better. They're about $20-$25 a piece. You can always find a coupon out on the internet sometimes for Vistaprint. So I pay about 20-25 bucks for this, and it lasts me all year pretty much on there. Just remember, you want to make sure you subscribe, because I got the video, a short video coming out. It'll be a Saturday video, and we're going to open these up, or I might put it inside one of these videos. And see how each one does, and kind of grade them to a matrix that's kind of tells us how people are doing and stuff like that. Not to roast the sellers. I just want to see how people are packing and shipping, and I recommend it to people. So that's coming up. But that's the poll. That's the envelopes. Just want to make sure it gets there. I don't go to the extreme putting rigid mailers and stuff like that on $4 to $10. You know, anything at $20 and under, it gets a sleeve. It goes in one of those envelopes, eBay standard envelope. Anything above that would probably go in maybe one of these heavier eBay ones, and if they're like by a big order, it'll go in one of these. But I do offer free shipping, eBay standard envelope, first class they have to pay for, and then I do offer priority. I will never do expedited overnight. I do not offer that, never will. Again, never will offer it. They can go buy it from somebody else. I've had a few questions this year for Christmas. time, would you overnight it? No, you need to go buy it from somebody else. I'm not your person for that. They don't really guarantee it that much, and it's just, I don't have the materials, and I don't do it that often, so I do not offer that at all. I'll miss that sale. That's the poll. Now I'm going to get into the viewer comments, more like comment. I'm only doing one comment today. Keeps coming in, people keep asking me about it. I've been not responding to some of them because the question is, do you end and relist on eBay? Why or why not? It's a really passionate thing with people doing the end and relist and sell similar, or whatever way they do it. Out there, it's kind of partisan. Some people are on the fence that say it works great. Some say it doesn't work. It probably works. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying it doesn't work for me. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why, so I can put this question to bed here. Let me give you level set where I'm at in my life. Is I'm not really a part-time reseller, and I'm not really a full-time reseller. I'm kind of in between with the hours and the time I spend on it anymore. As everyone knows, if they watch my video, you know I'm retired. My wife is retired now. I don't have a full-time job. This is what I do as a hobby, reselling to supplement the income we have from our retirement investments and stuff, so we can go do things and stuff like that. We're not looking to work 60 hours a week doing this. We've already done that, and we're grateful to be where we're at today. So I don't jump out there to get all these sales. But if people don't know what end and relist is on eBay, or end and sell similar, it's where you go in and you take down all your listings, or a majority of them or a part of them, and then you relist them, or you do a sell similar, and it actually sets it up as a new listing, so you're back up in search again. That takes a lot of time. That's what I heard. I've never done it. Over 38,000 listings. Even if I did 10,000 or 5,000, it would still take a considerable amount of time. So the first reason is time and the number of listings. And I don't want to mess up my store. I spend a lot of time putting listings up. I don't want to manage it that way. I've heard it can take, for a store with 30,000 cards, 2 to 4 hours to do. And then you get a boatload of sales, and then it goes back to normal. And then you have to do it again. The second thing is short-term gains. You're on a constant hamster wheel. So I go in and I end and relist 20,000 postcards. I sell 200 cards, make $300-400, and then I'm back to normal again. And since I enjoyed that sales, I go and do it again, and again, and again. So it's a constant hamster wheel on there. I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend 4 hours of my day managing my store in that way, doing that. So time is a big factor for me. 2, short-term gains, up and down, up and down. 3, I want organic sales. People say, what's that? It's basically like food. I want to have a store where I sell enough postcards to make me happy, make it worth the while, pay the bills, without all the fancy ingredients. I just want to list postcards. People buy them for a good price. I ship out in 1 or 2 days, packed well, good photos, nice titles, and prices for people to collect them. Not the fancy, have to run out and relist and repeat and stuff like that. So I want repeatable, sustainable processes. That's how I've worked all my life and stuff, is to have repeatable, sustainable processes. It'll work. When you end and relist, you get put back up in the top of search. You're going to sell cards. It's proven. People have told me. But I just don't want to spend the time doing it. It's just not for me. If you're doing it and it works well for you, and you have no issues, keep doing it. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying it doesn't work for what I want to do. So you're managing promoted listing, you're managing sales, you're managing coupons, you're managing end and relist. You're doing all this stuff all over the place. I want my focus on organic sales. Basically, just focus in one spot. I can do a lot of things well, but I can do a couple things very well. So if I've spread myself so thin that I'm working from the time I wake up until the time I go to bed at midnight, every day, 7 days a week, I'd rather just go get a job. At least when I leave work, I don't have to worry about it. And I get a paycheck with maybe some benefits. So basically, organic means just list the item for the best price I want to sell it for to make my money and a good deal for the buyer, and we just keep moving on without all the fancy stuff. I'm trying to stay away from that stuff. So those are the 3 things why I don't sell similar or end and relist. One is time and the number of listings, and I don't want to mess up my store. 2, short-term gains. Once you get going, you just got to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, because you get used to those volume of sales. 3, I want organic sales. I don't want the fancy ingredients. I just want to do it by itself. Now, if I need to ramp it up, maybe I'll look at it. But right at the moment, I don't need to do it. If it works for you, keep doing it. It's just something that I don't want to do. I'm not looking to do that. So that's the 3 reasons why I don't end and relist. I hope that resolves the questions I get about that, because people ask me what my thoughts are on it. I put it all out here, and leave any comments you want and stuff like that, and let me know if you do it or not. I'm sure it works, because you're going to get put up in sale. A lot of people tell me it works, and they say do it, you'll sell hundreds of cards. It's just not me. I just don't want to spend my time doing that. That's it. So now, talking about these Coke cards, the Coca-Cola and the signs, if you haven't watched a video on TV on, motel rooms with the TV that's on in the room is a thing. Does it give you a lot of money? No, but it's just one of those niches that people look at. People are catching on to some of these little things. And I did a video about that. So if you want to check that out after this, it'd be great. Thanks for watching. That's all I got for you today. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.